Yes, put that in there. The Dullahan. I couldn't remember what it was called.
Welcome, everyone. You got us in the middle of picking out our words because this is Irish theme, because we want to go back to the root of St. Paddy's Day. I just learned that the Headless Horseman originated in Ireland.
Yeah.
That is actually really cool. Because my only exposure to it was Sleepy Hollow, and that's always a Puritan like reference almost.
He wields a human spine as a whip.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's really gross.
Well, you are on my channel. I am Natalie Locke. This is Flash Fiction Live, where it's a monthly flash fiction stream where we just write something real quick, and then we do exactly what you're not supposed to do, which is publicly share it. But it's okay. Everyone here recognizes that, and we all screw up and change tense and so on and so forth. I've changed names mid-story before. However, Chandra and I can't do it by ourselves. So we invited a few guests. We have, hold on, I got this. Laura Nettles, who wrote Tiny Shivers. Dang it. Stop it. There, I want the cover. And then we also have, listen, I came prepared. I'm going to use these as much as I can. It's opening. Hold on. We also have Shannon, also known as SD Houston, Open Sesame, whose first book was Blood of the Lily, but it's actually it's a trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Clash of Goddesses.
Yeah. So I knew that they were going to promote other things, but I still like to show that I'm supporting y'all, I swear. It's on my TBR, okay? The first step is down.
Yeah. I just appreciate what you do, so.
All right, Laura, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, promote anything you want, even if you got an OnlyFans, it's fine.
I love it. Show off Roy's paws.
Hey, some people would pay for that.
I'm Laura Nettles. I write in a plethora of things, mostly horror, but I am branching out. I have been in the query trenches for 2 years with a middle grade horror and am working on shifting. So, stay tuned to see what ends up happening. It's probably going to be my adult paranormal dark academia. That's in 1860 in Whitby, England. So I'm excited. So stay tuned.
Shannon, dear.
So I'm Shannon. I write under the pen name of SD Houston, and that's what my channel name is under. Fantasy romance author with a passion for writing about broken characters who face adversity to become better versions of themselves. And yes, I do have the Irish trilogy, so this is like perfect. I love the Irish mythologies. It just doesn't sell. And it's really convoluted. A lot of the mythologies are convoluted, and I can understand why Greek does a whole lot better than Irish mythology because it's more straightforward. But I guess I could still, my Kickstarter is done. But I end it with $29.74. So like $26 shy of hitting the next stretch goal, which would have been the not safe for work artwork. But didn't hit it, so not getting that. But the Kickstarter platform has now enabled late pledges, so people can still go on there and pledge money and get the products, some of them. And the Kickstarter platform tells us that we should bump up the prices at least 10%. So I went with whatever they suggested on everything that I kept on there. And then there's one thing I didn't keep, which was the Faded Avengers story mail, which was 6 months of getting mystery romance through the mail. So that was doing it as a cohort because there's an online portion where they can interact with the other people going through the mystery. And so that's not on there anymore. But I believe the rest of the items are still up for buying if anyone wants it. And it's under A Curse of Wings and Gems. So if you Google a Cursive Wings and Gems, and maybe if you put Kickstarter, that might help to find it, if anyone wants to find that. So I did say special appearance by Dobby, and I wanted to say, I don't know if I actually spelled his name right. Is it with 2 B's?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought when I put it up there, I was like, wait, I think that's supposed to be 2 B's. I was like, oh, well, it's up there already. And I was getting ready to type, that's probably spelled wrong. And then it was my turn to talk. So
Close enough.
So, Chandra, if anyone doesn't know you, they probably also don't know me. So,
This is true. This is Dobby with 2 B's. He is being very cute this morning, but also kind of rotten. My name is Chandra Arthur. I'm half of Flash Fiction Live and co-author of 1,000 Words to Get Started and 1,000 Words to Ignite Romance. Yeah, we do this show once a month now, and Natalie told y'all basically what it's about, but that's what we do. But we're very excited today to have company.
yeah, we like to suffer in company. It's the best way. They say misery loves company. I mean, last month was Bloody Valentine, and we brought it with Laura.
you guys didn't put your links for your books down in your description box.
Yeah, I suck at links, so at some point I'm going to be putting the links because I want to put y'all's links in there.
I didn't know you had the second book with the romance. I want to get it, but there's no link for me to click on.
This
Yeah,
one is
I'll
a lot of fun. I think that's actually where we pulled the prompt for today.
So on page 141, there's a prompt called starting from blank, and we get to edit that. And each one of us is going to edit that accordingly. And then I pulled 4. Did I pull? Yeah, I can count. Okay. 4 challenges on top of having an Irish theme to our stories. And then we have 10 words as well that we're all going to use. The first 5 are from the book. The next 5, Shannon is putting in as Irish words.
Oh, Laura put in the Doulahan because I couldn't remember. Oops, that's way too big.
It's fine.
The Doulahan's the Headless Horseman. The last one I'm putting in is the Vampire of Irish Lore.
Ooh.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
So I was thinking about what you were saying about Irish folklore. And there's a series that I read that I really enjoyed. There's now some controversy behind it, so I won't, get it too much into that. But I feel like people maybe don't know the difference between Irish and Scottish folklore. And I feel like they should, and I feel like if people knew the differences, they would be really about it. So that might be something to kind of share, and I would enjoy that.
Well, you would have the Celtic, which was a way, the Celtic people, that was their idea. That's what they believed. And as they spread out, it changed wherever they were going. So you have like the Celtic mythology in Europe, and they don't have the Morrigan because that is Irish only. So it changed depending on where they went. And so it's the same with the Scottish. There's changes in the different stories, and then new stories being added. And
That makes sense.
I think when most people think of some of the Irish stuff besides the Morrigan, or not the Irish, sorry, the Celtic stuff besides the Morrigan, most of what they know is from Europe. The legends are from Europe.
Yes.
They kind of group it together instead of a separation and stuff. Like we think of Beauty and the Beast in the same realm as Little Mermaid type of. I mean, that's the only like modern a well-known reference I can think of, but I mean, it came from actually 2 different regions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you think about Belle, it's French.
So we have a lot in. Devin came by, said hi. Is probably still here. But we also have Jordan, who is bringing up some lore, and I don't know if anyone here knows the answers to these.
Yeah, Cuchulainn. Yes, he was a legendary figure who was part god. He was Lu's son. Lu was, they don't really have like sun god or like, but if there was like sun god or things like that, he was a sun god, but he was more than that. But Cuchulainn is still celebrated as a warrior figure in Ireland. They have lots of statues to him because of the way he died, and he's very closely linked to the Morrigan. And I always thought there was like a love story there. I thought if I ever wrote a story, I would want to write their story. I have the original text, and most of it's been translated. And just what happens between them, I think there's a love story, but it's not really in the text. And so, but he basically turns her away. But they have a long history of interacting. And Macha, which is part of the Morrigan, in one of her lifetimes was killed or died after she was forced to race when she was pregnant and she gave birth to her twins, and the twins were lost to history. But in that dying, no one would help her. That was in Ulster. And Cuchulainn is from Ulster. And she basically cursed them that they would not be able to basically protect themselves. No, he was not from Ulster, but he helped Ulster. So they would not be able to protect themselves for like 9 generations. And that if they tried to protect their land, that they would feel the pangs of childbirth for 9 months. And so when Ulster went to battle with, I don't know who they went to battle with. I don't remember the legend. I knew it back then. Was it Connacht? I don't remember Connacht. I don't remember. Cuchulainn was the only one to stand up for Ulster to protect them. And he fought off like most of the army. And when he was dying, he was cut through his middle. So he was like holding in his innards. And he looped his harness around one of the standing stones and still fought with one hand until he finally died from his injuries. And for days, people still did not approach his body thinking that he was going to kill them. And he actually did cut off the hand. He was dead, but he cut off the hand of the first person who approached him because the sword fell and cut off the hand. And then people knew that he was finally dead when the Morrigan, as a raven, or I think she was a raven form, landed on his shoulder, and people knew that finally he was dead. So sad story.
Oh God. I gotta read like all the stories and stuff, and yeah, that God, I just like I like history, and that's what to me the legends and lores are, is like a fun history instead of the boring one of the Battle of 1876 was fought in 1876. Like, all right, thanks, Ben Stein. Let's move on.
I was shocked to hear that it was fought in 1876, actually.
And I think I even grabbed the wrong battle. I think there might have been a battle of 1817 or something. And I don't know. It's been a while.
I'm sure there was one somewhere.
Yeah. But the history I like is like the snarkiness of characters and stuff, like Winston Churchill and Abraham Lincoln. Apparently they were both full of sass and sarcasm. And I'm like, yes.
I've been reading, just kind of bigger memoirs and biographies, and the recent ones that I've read have been by John Meacham, who kind of has a similar style to Ron Chernow, and most of what I read is around the end of the Civil War into Reconstruction, and then the late 1800s, just because that's where I write historical fiction. And a lot of times, people don't love the parts of the story where there's just like peace, and there tends to be not as much, but there's like when you get into it and you get into those really detailed histories, I find there's a lot of everyday life that happens that you can pick up on and understand really what it was like. And so I like those detailed histories, but written biographically rather than just a general overview of like, then this happened, then that happened. Because reading, all of them have been presidents that I've read so far, but reading them in sequential order, you start to see background characters who were very influential at the time, who play into each story. And even though they may not have books written about them, you can still piece together a lot about their lives. And I feel like, when you read all of the mythology behind something and you read about each of the characters, you get that same effect where you're able to piece together more of what was happening at the time and what people's impressions of it were, like their reaction to, especially based off of like who's telling the story.
Yay. God, this is the stuff I love. I wish our lives weren't so busy so we could actually stream more and just have these conversations. And
I know I've been
Okay.
talking a lot about the Irish mythology, but I feel like Laura knows quite a bit too. So I don't know if Laura, if you had anything else to add to the. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to overrun the conversation when we were talking about the Irish stuff.
No, it's all
not
good.
at all.
I mean, like when people think of Irish, that's one of the misconceptions. It's just like, oh, you're redhead, you're Irish. It's like it's not always the case. All right, so the only thing we got left, besides more interruptions, is picking out our challenges. So I chose 4 challenges. I will let the guest choose their challenge, and then Chandra and I will take the leftovers.
Do you want me to read what the challenges are out loud?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that chat will know and everything. So these challenges and the prompt are straight from our book 1000 Words to Ignite Romance. But romance doesn't always have to be a love story. It can also be just 2 characters finding friendship and such. So yeah, throwing that out there. Okay, continue.
All right, so the prompt is starting from blank. And then the 4 challenges are where adults act like children, love interests tackling each other's demons, rekindle a lost romance, or have a character learn something about their love interest. So, who's picking first?
You go ahead.
Okay.
I like 3 of them, so whichever one you don't take.
I want to do tackling each other's demons.
Okay. Then I'll take have a character learn something about their love interests.
Chandra.
Ooh. Oh, you pick.
I think I'm going to do where adults act like children because I feel like that's what gods and goddesses do all the time. And so I'm kind of taking an easy way out.
Okay, that means I will do the rekindle a lost romance.
Okay, so we will copy and paste this entire thing. And don't worry, you can pick your title after you're done writing and we can share that because I know sometimes I have a title right away. Other times I'm like, we're going to find out what the title is. But copy and paste for chat, if you want to know, our words are reary, way, tilt, bind, aura. And that is from our book. And then we asked Shannon and Laura to add in 5 words. And so Shannon added in, you know what, I'm going to let you read them because I pronounce them differently than how they're supposed to be pronounced. Abhartar?
It's not at all. I bet the TACK.
Yeah.
That's probably CH is probably not pronounced at all. I'd have to, you know what? I can look it up. Hold on just a second. If y'all don't know about Perplexity AI, it's like a search function. And I used to put into Google, how do you say this? Because right now I'm doing the audiobooks for my Irish mythology. And I would say, how do you say this in Irish? And I'd be lucky if I'd get back something and I'd have to really dig through all the pages. And I use the Perplexity and finds it like right away. And it's like, what? So, how do pronounce is an old Irish word meaning dwarf. Yeah. Do you phonetically say it?
Ooh.
And I forgot that I do my audiobook once a month, and I forgot this month when I started doing it. I was like looking in Google. I was like, this is so hard. Why can't I find this? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Perplexity. Okay, so it's Vartuk or Vartex, depending where you're at. You actually do say it.
So we got teachers, not teachers. We got creatures. There we go. Which, I mean, I guess they could teach you something, as well as a little bit of the lore. Like Keen, you talked about being like sorrowful, like crying.
Yeah, it's a cry, a wail. So you
So I just looked it up, and they have a connection to the Tuatha, which is some of the mythology that I've been looking into. I think it's more like Gaelic and Ireland, or
yeah, the
but
Tuatha is from Ireland.
yeah, and so a lot of that has been coming up in some of the research that I've been doing for a different project, and
Oh, that's
so
cool.
it's kind of cool to see the connection.
So I'm going to have the completely incorrect story. Everyone else here has back history that where they've touched the lore. This is my first time. Cool. All right. So now that we've chosen our prompts and such, we have a Google Doc that I will share on screen, but you're only going to see my screen of it. But everyone has a tab where they're going to write their story. And
we're trying to use as many of the 10 words as possible, right?
Yeah, we usually try to use all 10.
All 10, yeah.
Chandra tries to use it exactly out as it's written, whereas I will make a word past tense, or I'll, throw in some
ING.
suffixes or prefixes, whatever makes it work for my story. Chandra's a purist and perfect. We know this.
Except for when I completely forget to include the challenge. So
hey, I've done that too. But we'll take 30 minutes to go through this and create it. So yeah, I guess at this point I need to share my screen because I'll have the timer. Yes, thank you, honey. The timer going. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. So it can be seen. All right.
I will highlight it on my sheet.
Yeah. Right now I am on your sheet. I will be jumping over to mine, and I'll highlight mine now. Just because my memory sucks.
Mine does too. That's why I highlighted it.
Thanks to the children who stole my memory as they came through the birth canal.
I actually deleted everything else but mine so that I wouldn't get confused.
There you go. That's another smart way.
That's
It's
smart.
like no one else exists before mine.
Otherwise, I will for sure be like, am I supposed to put all of this into the story, or nah?
Let me go do that.
The last thing I will say for anyone writing with us, as well as our co-host. So the blank for starting from blank, that can be as many words as you want it to be. It's not just, am I boring you? It's not just one word, but you can have starting from the end of the world or something like that. Like it doesn't have to be one word. So throwing that out there. And I guess at this point, I need to start our timer so we can actually get going. Yeah, you can mute me once we're done.
So, will you also mute me? For whatever reason, I can't access my screen controls.
With pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll just, you might have to be like, no, when it comes back to unmute. But hopefully we can unmute you. I just thought of that because sometimes there's the rule of like, you can't unmute somebody. They have to do it themselves. So
Fingers
throwing
crossed.
that out there. But we got 30 minutes to figure it out along with writing a story. No pressure. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Interesting.
I hear you.
When did my screen cut to?
It did.
I don't know. It looked like it did. Well, the timer just went off, so we're good.
Okay.
I'm on my last word and last sentence. Okay, done. That was I have to admit, I feel like I was writing brain surgery. Chandra, stop leaving. I just unmuted you.
Oh, yay.
But I was I just kept on Googling like names and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce any of these. Luckily, we don't read our own stories, so good luck to one of you. Whoever knows how to correctly pronounce any of these, what will just chime in as the person's reading. So we'll go with that. So glad everyone's popping in and saying hi. Y'all came just in time. We just finished our 30-minute draft, and now we have the joy of reading them. And that is either going to be joy in the sense of laughter because it's so bad, or joy in the sense of laughter because it's so good, and we're just like, yeah, no, wait, we don't need to read mine, because that's usually what I feel.
Whatever, man.
Mine's like almost like a slice of life, a little bit. Like it's not really. It doesn't have that oomph that I feel a Flash should have. But I tried to twist. We'll see. All right. So we will go in order.
Oh dear.
So I got Shannon first, and at this point, I really wish I had studied Irish accents, because it would be so fun, but I don't want to insult anybody by even attempting. So it's I can read Shannon's. And then, of course, if I mispronounce anything, oh my God, Shannon, you are a writing demon.
It's all, I did verbal to speech to text.
You still had the ideas and were able to put them down.
Yeah. I always have
was doing, like, for the first 5 minutes, my screen had nothing on it. And I was like, oh, I feel kind of bad. I'm not writing.
For context, Shannon wrote 550 words. So, yeah, that's pretty amazing. I
spoke 550 words. I actually probably typed 2 words in there, but
I have 376, and
I have 387.
I was typing like while y'all were talking, and I'm still not done. And there's so many details missing.
I'm a slow typer, so I have to do speech to text or something like this.
Yeah, this is so sorry. It just ends in the middle of the story. And then it starts to also, like, the last probably paragraph or two starts to read like a 0 draft. So
yeah. I have 357, I think is what I saw. I just saw the word and then I forgot, or the number, and I just forgot it. Hold on. Word count. Oh, 375. Nope, switch it.
And I've had wrist surgery because I tore my TFC when I was in the military. And so when I had my wrist surgery, that was in 2011. So I had to learn dictation back then because I was still writing a lot. And so I've had lots of, 13 years of dictation experience.
I still need to pick your brain on that because, like, even just driving, I get wrist pain driving. And I only drove for like 3 hours. And then I always wonder if you have to include the punctuation and stuff as you're doing
There's some newer programs that you don't have to, but I use a free one on speechtexture.com. And it doesn't because I'm partially tone deaf, so it doesn't understand my difference between and in, and I don't always say those when I'm like saying a sentence, so it'll put the wrong one in there, and they will mix it up. So it's not a great one, but it's free, and I do have to say the punctuation. But it does have a menu, so you can choose what you want to say for the punctuation, so you can change it to whatever you want.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
I always
So it's
use
tailorable.
I use Google Keep, but it's just like what you would use in like texting. So you can put in the punctuation. I actually changed the settings in my iPhone so that it'll let me put in punctuation myself instead of trying to put it in for me where I'm pausing, because I pause a lot when I'm thinking. And I'm like, no, don't punctuate how you think I'm speaking. Let me tell you where to punctuate so I can think however long it takes me.
I think there's a new one out that you could tell, like, it gets used to you. So like if you pause at a certain point, it won't put the punctuation in, but it like learns where to put the punctuation, but you have to pay for it. It's like an AI driven one. So like it learns you, but I don't remember what it was called. But that's a pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that's why I was like, stop. It was messing up so bad with all of like the newer like um iOS AI updates that they have added.
Hmm.
And I just had to go in and turn off all of
Turn
the
it
new
off.
functionality because it was unusable. Like I couldn't even do like voice text like um when I was driving or like, responding to something where it would read it out and I was responding. All of it just quit working once they pushed the um Apple AI update.
Mhm.
And I was just like that. I use it too much to be like one of their guinea pigs. I was like, just let me do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Natalie, if you look where it says 100% next to normal text in the menu, you can make it bigger there.
I learned something new. And I use Google Docs all the time. Oh, would that be the same as like, because I just did Control Plus. Is that the same thing?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I was zooming in on the whole screen, and which made me lose the tab. So, okay. Now that we learned new technology across the board, we will. I'll go ahead and read Shannon's. If I pause right before a name, it's because I need you to pronounce it because I don't want to butcher it. And then I always want to say lament, but what is it, the correct pronunciation?
Oh, I don't. I just say lament.
Lament.
Lament,
Okay.
that's right.
Because it sounds the same. I think it sounds the same to me.
Okay. All right. Well, then here's Shannon's flash.
What's the prompt with the blank?
What is the prompt? Yeah, because
Oh,
you didn't put in starting.
was I supposed to start it with starting from?
No.
Oh, okay.
You
No,
don't
just
have to.
So this is have a character learn something about their love interest, but it's kind of a not quite that. It's a one love interest knew something about the other one and told them about it.
So what would you title it? Starting from.
Oh, starting. I don't know.
We don't know.
Starting
from unknown.
Starting from, Blood and Secrets. I don't know.
Ooh, it's a YA. All right. Okay, let's go through it. Did you get all 10 words, by the way?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
They're like you. They're not the exact word. Like bind. I did bound instead of bind.
Okay, let's begin. The west-facing window was open, an invitation if she didn't know better. She flew inside, shifting to her human form in the darkness. She smelled the air. No iron, no salt. Was this really an invitation?
Thanks.
Welcome. For several moments, she didn't move, letting the darkness settle about her. It was too quiet. Not even a heartbeat. What is this? Then the faintest rustle. Ashling. Ashling. She recognized the deep, weary voice. What was that again?
Arbertalk.
Adbertalk.
Yeah.
Adbertalk, you are done with your lament? I am. She hadn't heard his keening in several days, but she hadn't wanted to interfere. So you believe that this is the last of your line? He didn't answer right away, but he shuffled in the darkness, coming closer. His eyes glinted. The, they brightened the closer he came to her. Came to her until they could see each other. Then the scent wafted over her, deadening almost all of her other senses. She took a long breath and held it. Wearing my favorite perfume, Abby? Blood. It meant something was dead in their soul. Would be hers soon. The pale man tucked some of her hair behind an ear, bringing the scent right to her nose. She couldn't help but to lick the blood from his wrist. Who do you think I opened the window?
Typo there. It should have been
Yeah.
who.
Who do you think opened the window?
Yeah.
He asked, the smile both fearsome and soft at the same time. Softness was only for her. She had never seen the same ease with anyone else. She tilted her head away, looking past him for the soul likely to be lingering and looking out for a way out. You just killed for me? It wasn't a question, even though she wondered about it. He took a step closer, his body almost against hers, and the moon highlighted the blood on his lips. An aura of death surrounded him with the beckoning scent of iron, and she could easily fall under his spell. But what would her sisters think? Slua rarely separated from each other. They tended to flock together like clouds of darkness, flying up and down the face of the earth in vast numbers.
Should be
in vast numbers. Perhaps she was already under his spell, having come here alone. I killed for you, and I killed for me. He shifted back. The man of the house killed my last granddaughter. Again, the weariness entered his voice. She vibrated with her secret. He deserved to know, especially since he hunted down everyone who killed his family, trying to stop them from becoming what he was, the undead who fed on blood. Horses' hooves sounded through the window. Abartok glanced out into the darkness, before looking back at her. Take your soul before the Dullahan gets it. By herself, she didn't stand a chance of eating tonight if the Dullahan beat her to it. But she starved for the evening to share her secret. Abby, you have a great grandchild left. My sisters and I have felt his potential. We've been waiting for him to come into his magic. We have bound him to the land because of the Sluow would have him. A face greater than we've had in a while.
Let's be feast. Sorry.
A feast greater than what we've had in a while. But I can take you to him so you can save him. The man studied her, probably wondering if he could trust her. Then he nodded. Show me the way. Ooh.
Nice.
Love it. Like, there's so much lore there.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't catch it. I didn't get a chance to go over it after I finished.
No, and that's the thing. And that's why we like to publicly put it out there. Like, everyone, even whether you're doing dictation or typing, we mistype stuff all the time. Okay. Like,
here.
It's what we do. The thing is that this is stuff you would catch on a reread, and you got the meat and potatoes, and that's maybe I'm just hungry, but that's the point, is you get the main thing. All right. And it looks like Regina loved it, by the way. So, all right, let's.
As did Devin.
As did Devin. Yay. Oh, I see it. It's a little delayed on my end on the coming up. All right. So now, who wants to read Laura's?
Can I?
Sure.
You may.
Okay. We Are Worthy. See, she even got a title in there starting from The First Kiss.
Yep.
Right.
Love interest tackling each other's demons. Okay.
Yeah. Lachlan's eyes fluttered close as he pressed forward, lips catching
Killian.
Killian's. Please love me back, he pleaded in his mind. Please deem me worthy. Killian's head tilted in a way that dragged his nose over Lachlan's freckled cheekbone, mouth passionately returning the gesture, hands threading through hair, pulling a keening noise from Lachlan. He was dead. His soul had been taken by the sluagh, lifted on raven wings, and somehow been judged worthy of heaven. He doesn't know you completely, though. You're deceiving him. He doesn't know how much of a mess you are, how you've messed up your family's business and can't be trusted with anything of actual value. What's going on in that pretty head of yours? Killian whispers, pulling away slightly. Lachlan lamented. You're too good for me. I can't do this. Bind you to myself when you don't even know how much of a fuck up I am. I don't usually cuss, but there you go. His voice cracks, weariness sapping the passion from his bones. What was he doing? Killian's hands smooth the hair at the nape of my neck, stilling me from moving even farther away. I can see your aura, Lachlan. I can see the kindness and good intentions moving through it like silverfish. You're a witch? Lachlan gasped, gazing deep into those green-rimmed hazel eyes. Fear
Lanceted, yeah.
Lancet his emotions, making Killian step back. Yeah, I'm sorry. Or, yeah, I am. Sorry, I've kept it hidden from you all year. But, our reputation hasn't been the best for the past century. Killian's looking at his own shoes, pain and fear etched on his perfect face. I'm such an ass. Are you also a Dullahan? I ask. His eyes snap up to mine. No, of course not. Or Arbitek? No. You don't rise from the grave or personally send people to their own grave early. Killian shakes his head. On my life, no. Lachlan takes a step towards him then. Well, that's all right then. Killian blinks in surprise. Really? My mother is the one who made these past winters unbearable. It's all my family's faults. It's all my family's fault. So many have died of exposure and starvation. Ice slides down Lachlan's spine. My family's business went under this winter. It was my fault. I lost the pouch of gold earrings. We both have personal demons, it seems. We make a pair, don't we? Killian breathes against Lachlan's neck, leaning back into his embrace. Lachlan's heart flutters. Yeah, we do.
Ooh,
I like it.
I like it.
You
I
did.
kept switching from third to first, and I
was
thought I
about to
caught them
say.
all, but I didn't. Dang it!
Hey, you did perfect. That's exactly what I asked of you. I wanted you to purposely switch between the POVs so that everyone would feel better about themselves, because otherwise it would have been too perfect and we would have hated you secretly.
Oh, okay.
So I'm cracking up because I'm literally the worst, and I did not notice at all. So yeah, don't have me read for POV switching. I will not notice it.
All right.
I can
Laura,
read this
do you
one.
have Chandras?
Yeah. So it says the prompt is starting from the beginning. He had warned the people not to make offerings to death. And the challenge was rekindle a lost romance. An offering for the death gods. Yeah, make this bigger on my side. Okay. My father always told me the stories, though he wasn't the only one who warned people not to call on some spirits. He was not a superstitious man, but he said it was a mistake. Starting from the beginning, he had warned the people not to make offerings to death. Even after my mother died, he begged me not to make the offerings, though it was the people of the town who had killed her, but they had already taken my love from me. I didn't listen. I heard the cane of the banshee, saw the fetch of my father in the gloaming, and knew that it was time. Fate had been decided, and my father would be next to go. The evil eye was on our house, and I knew who had done it. Gathering a bundle of shamrock from the glen, I made my preparations, casting the circle of ash as my mother had taught me. Though she had always used her magic for good, I would not stand for the curse of small minds and jealous people. I used the circle to bind her aura to the place where they had burned her body, where they would burn mine too. In the circle, I started my lament, letting my body tilt and sway in the rhythm of the drum I beat with my hands. I was weary of the world and the loss it was filled with. When they came to see the cause of the disturbance, the meaning of the dawn summons, and the fire in the town center, they saw where I had tied myself. They crossed the line into my circle, felt the binding I had used to use snap tight. They could not leave, not without ripping their souls from their bodies, a feat that humans are powerless to perform. That is when I cried out to death to come and receive the offering and return to me what my heart desired most, and there was enough for the three. First, the Arbitok returned the blood spilled from my father's wrists where he had been stricken. And then the Dullahan returned my lost love, carrying his body on the back of his horse. And the Slua returned my mother, her form. They killed everyone and leave the MC, her mother, father, and one true love.
Ta-da!
It's like the bottom part is like the side effects listing for medication, and they kill everyone and leave the MC and her mother and father and one true love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely ran out of time, but I do want to finish this one. This was a lot of fun.
I love how you got all the words in there, and it was closely tied to the narrator.
God,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you built like a magic system that I believed you built, and what I like is the creatures, you made them like the delivery of the pieces of the loved ones.
Yeah, definitely rewrote the first half several times to like get it right. But I did a lot of like quick research. And I think that took most of my writing time. So
Same. Like
And
yeah.
I would say if you spent time rewriting the beginning, I didn't rewrite anything. You probably could get 500 words in the 30 minutes.
She has before.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
every once in a while I really just like churn it out when the idea hits me. Let me read Natalie's. I feel like I have had the benefit of listening to you all pronounce the challenging words several times, but unfortunately, my brain is a sieve. So,
Yeah, same. Also, I pulled a bunch of gods and goddess names from the internet. So, Shanon and Laura, y'all pay attention, please, because I don't even know how they're pronounced.
okay, here goes. A party is always a great place to meet people, but a Halloween party will have more than just people. I'm always weary to go, but something in my gut remained in my gut after I arrived to the castle. There was a golden haze over everyone. Some costumes were clearly Celtic gods and goddesses, like Morgan, Bridget,
Yeah.
Danu, and Lu.
No.
Lu.
Yeah.
Others were creatures of the Sluow and Aberta. Everyone looked so realistic. I even gasped seeing the Dullahan until he poured his drink down his beheaded throat. I went to grab a beer, but was told it was all mead. I assumed the tarnish
If it's
dressed
Irish.
man.
Oh. Was that supposed to be Irish?
Yeah, it's Tyrannus, I think, and
Tyrannus,
he's the
yeah.
god of thunder.
Yeah, I assumed the Tyrannus dressed man was just trying to be fancy, but the taste was unlike any beer I've had in my life. And I even helped my parents around the pub when I turned 18. It was it was confirmed stronger than any beer I had before when the room began to tilt just 10 minutes after I finished my first goblet. I bind myself to the wall as my eyes dart I started around for non-alcoholic liquids right as the Tyrannus came beside me. So with so what is your affinity? He asked, leaning against the same wall, keeping me upright. Touching my moon necklace, I said, or probably slurred, I'm Rhiannon. Tyrannus's brow furrowed. She is over by the bard, so who are you again? Sure enough, by the bard was a beautiful woman of white wavy hair whose aura glowed like the moon. Realization dawned on me. Oh, did you mean my real name? It's Thorsha.
Sure, sure. Mhm.
A wicked grin spread across Tyrannus's lips. Ah, I see. You seem to have lost your way and wandered into our party. I shook my head. No, I was invited by my friend. Is that Afi?
Aoife.
Aoife? By my friend Aoife. It's her boyfriend's place. Keeping my shoulder against the stone wall, I stepped back. Tyrannus laughed. Oh no, this isn't anyone's home other than Ayo. And since you've had our drink, you are to remain here. My head hadn't stopped shaking the entire time he spoke. He waved his hand over my eyes, causing me to blink. But when I opened them, I saw light emitting from wings from a few partygoers back. And right when I felt like keening, a drunken chant began, but it sounded more like a lament. Is is the main character there is like a human sacrifice?
I think she just wandered into the wrong party, and
Oh, she thinks she's at
A
the
human
oh,
party.
whoops. I thought that someone had been like, "Oh, come to my party, like be our friend," and she's there as a human sacrifice, so not really as a guest. And they're like, "Now you never get to leave."
well, and the thing that I went on is because I know in some fairy lore, it's if you eat any of the food or drinks offered, you have to stay. And so
Yeah.
that's where my mind was. And then I was like, oh crap, I haven't even included fairies in here. That's why I did the like waving the hand over the eyes to make her
Well,
see.
yeah. I mean, that's with the. I mean, I guess it depends on whose depiction it is, but um, I think that the glamour is very ubiquitous with
Mhm.
fairies. Um, I like it. That was fun. The only reason I know Sorsha is because Sorsha Ronan did an appearance
Oh, yeah.
on a show
Yeah.
and has like a little jingle that she made to help people pronounce her name. And so that
I
sticks in
Well,
my
and that's
head.
why I chose that name. I was like, this is an actress name. We're going with it. Someone, I was like, I don't need to include every single thing, but I did find some interesting stuff. So the name Eriu, that is actually like the goddess of Ireland, like how Ireland got its name.
Ire is how you pronounce it with the E
Ire. Okay.
at the end, but I don't know how you pronounce that one. I was just looking it up.
Yeah. It was
IRU is I think is how you say it.
Iru. And but I just found that interesting. So by making her the owner of the house, to me just seemed even more cool because
Yeah,
technically it's all hers and stuff.
that's really cool.
But yeah, I had fun with that. And it's really interesting how the more you get exposed to other cultures' lore, you realize we have a lot of the same stories, a lot of the same creatures, like the vampire like
Mhm.
creatures is and the way and the fact that they're killed the same way of like wouldn't stick through the heart. Yet the Abher talks are buried upside down, I read
Mhm.
and stuff.
Well,
So
the
if
main
you're not
one was
watching my screen, that's why I wasn't writing for so long because I was on my scavenger hunt to make sure I understood what the hell I was writing about.
well. If you think, I think they had to be killed with a yew tree, the Arbuthnot. And then if you've ever watched like the Vampire Diaries, they had to be killed, like the originals had to be killed by a certain tree.
Yeah, it was like an older tree or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that made sense.
And then if anyone's ever read the Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time series, he has a ton. He has Bridget in there. He has the horn that calls the dead heroes to come and fight. That's also in the Irish mythologies. The Aes Sedai, the way he took that from She, which is, you know, from the Irish fairies living under the hill. So there's a lot he took from Irish mythology for his series.
Wheel of Time is really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little cumbersome for me. But I appreciate the lore. I appreciate the multifaceted stories and such and characters. And I love retellings too, and stuff. And this was just so fun because I mean, Chandra and I, we like last month was the first time we did like a theme. And we were like, well, we got to do like Irish. And of course we invited Laura and Shannon for that. And like, I kind of want to do that more often, is pick a theme, like, and expose ourselves to other stories. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, let's face it, every single story is a retelling. There's no original story because it's at least a combination of multiple stories or what have you. So
that's your guys' next book that comes out. It's themed story prompts.
Well, we already got a theme. We did romance and everything. We'll do
No, you do themed ones. So you have from Irish mythology, you have, you know, whatever.
She's
that could
expanding
be
the
fun.
franchise now.
I mean, you could do a mythology prompt book. So you have Irish mythology, Chinese mythology, you know, all over the world mythology, basically.
Egyptian.
Ooh.
Egyptian, yes. I love Egyptian mythology.
Yes.
That would be very fun. I feel like my brain would just really enjoy all of the research for
Me
that.
too.
I feel like we would have to include a dictionary for people like me along with the book, or having like an entire, like, here's the definitions list. So like the book is going to end up being
A translation guide.
It could be like with D&D, at the back of like your player handbook, they have suggested reading, and it's like all of the fiction that they would recommend will help you be more familiar with the lore of D&D. And so like the Wheel of Time, pretty much all of Sanderson's books, Patrick Rothfuss, I think N.K. Jemisin, like quite a few, like just, and it'll just list all of their stuff that you should read. And
Well,
it's pretty helpful.
And Chandra, if you did all that research, you could put it all together and make it your own guide and sell that with it.
Ooh, like a handbook.
Yes. Yeah. Get a little extra money that way.
all the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, Devin even chimed in and said sea monster anthology. I didn't even think of the sea monsters. Of course, the only one I can think of is Loch Ness Monster, but then we got like the great squids, the kraken,
Kraken.
Yeah. I mean,
even mermaids in some mythologies are not nice creatures.
Yeah.
So
sirens, narwhals. Yeah.
Narwhals are real.
Part of the fun.
I know narwhals are real, but I still love it.
I think that's part of the fun, though, is being able to understand the like positive and negative mythology, of like why certain creatures have the reputation that they have. Even like looking at Medusa being this like villainized character, or what's Maleficent being a villainized character. Like when you have retellings from their perspective, like, why are you so mad? And then you're like, well, you know, that's a valid reason. I can see why you would maybe want to turn a bunch of people to stone. You know, I think.
Well, and then also understanding the culture at the time, because with Maleficent, the explanation of how she wasn't invited to the baby's christening, and how in that culture in that time was a complete utter slight, like it was almost a slap in the face in front of everybody to know that she wasn't invited. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. Whereas before it was just like, as kids, we're thinking, I don't get invited to stuff all the time. I don't curse anyone.
Yeah. I think that's important though, and I like just the little bit of reading I did just to start to pull everything together here really makes it all ties things together, and some of the research also helps with the Maleficent was justified. I agree. Um, helps with the
I
project
don't
that I'm
agree
working
taking
on.
that out on a baby, but I do understand.
Unless she saw the future and knew what was going to happen eventually.
Ooh, good point. What's the extent of her magic?
Hmm. I always thought about that.
We could digress forever. Okay. So, all right, next month is we're in March. So April, what do we want to do for April? I'm curious.
April
Like,
Fools.
Mm,
oh, the
Trickster
tricksters of
gods.
lore. So
yeah.
we're talking like Loki, Puck, like from Midsummer Night's Dream and stuff like that.
Just Fae in general, it's like with the promises that they make or that you deals that you strike with the Fae. It's like, how did you word that
Ooh.
specifically?
There are leprechauns, right? In the they were called something else, but we call them leprechauns. And so they would also do the same thing. They were tricksters.
Mhm.
So
That makes so much sense. And then Hollywood decides to make like horror movies based on them. I like that idea. We'll do
they're more likely
tricksters.
to like, get into your wine and beer and drink it all.
I think we should do well. Let me check and see if there's any other April holidays that we might like to.
Well, you got Easter, but
Yeah.
that's kind of the opposite of tricksters.
No, I'm not. I just meant on writing. Like, there's enough writing on Easter. Okay, just
Yeah.
throw that out
Other
there.
than that, we could do horror for tax day.
We already did a little bit of horror, but you know, that'd be like a slashing, hacking type horror.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
in
I
a
think I like
horror
those.
anthology for Easter where it was all about rabbit horror.
That is so funny. Rabid rabbits.
It makes me think of though I will say in the movie The Guardians, having Hugh Jackman as the Easter bunny, and he's got like
Yes.
so much sass.
I love that
And the
movie so much.
Australian accent and all right.
Yeah, I like the trickster idea.
Yeah, I like the trickster idea. So okay, I already have a live stream planned for the 13th, I believe. So we could do the 6th.
Let me see this. I believe I have had something rescheduled to that date. Isn't that your birthday?
Yes. Then the 20th.
Good for the 20th.
Cool. Y'all want to join?
Sure.
If your schedules allow. I mean,
Let me check what I've got.
number
April
36,
20th.
Chandra's channel.
Yeah, I'm open on the 20th.
Yeah.
So it
I
seems
like this having friends who know lore.
At the same time. That works.
Tricksters. All right, that's the theme is tricksters. Okay. Yay.
is that gonna be on Chandra's channel then?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But Chandra and I, we use this same system, which by the way, I will say, I think the system worked. I ended up changing my audio output, and I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, that fixed it on my side. I haven't heard any echo.
Though, oh, I like the some of Devin's inputs here. For April here, we can include some rain in our stories, by the way. Something raining too much of a good thing can be bad. Going dark. April showers bring May flowers, but a sacrifice is needed.
Oh,
Ooh.
that reminds me of what's that? The author Shirley. No, is it Shirley? The one who wrote about the box and they pull out and then they would stone the person. It's a short story.
Shirley Jackson.
Shirley Jackson. There you go. Yeah, her story. That reminds me. They would have to basically do a sacrifice to ensure that the crops and stuff would be good.
Is it the lottery?
Yes, the lottery. I couldn't remember the name of it. I used to have my students read it. It was part of my semester thing. Every semester I had my students read it. Now I can remember it.
I still need to read it.
Oh, it's
on my
short.
list. I know.
It's very, and it happens on June 27th. I always remember because it's my mom's birthday is when they did the lottery.
Puka, leprechauns.
Yeah, it's really short. You should read it.
Oh, they're tricksters in Irish mythology. Okay.
Mhm.
Easter horror, Monty Python, and the Holy Grail. Oh yeah, Jackrabbit. Oh, and then Devin also knew lottery.
Very fun.
Yay! All right. So we're set. Yeah. I appreciate everyone coming out. Thanks for coming. I didn't even make the IG chat. Like we worked this like a month ago, but I didn't make the IG thing until yesterday. I've been meaning to do this. And I'd always remember at the worst possible time.
Well, I now get to take advantage of your trial run and use the infrastructure that you have already created.
I can try.
So
our powers combined, we make someone logical and thorough.
I'm very excited about this, though. I think
this is why we don't have our own books. We had a co-author.
Yeah, at least one of us is functioning at all times.
Yeah, it switches, but it's one of us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, it's funny. We just finished Irish Lore, and I was excited for that, but now I'm excited for Tricksters. This is what happens. I reach a goal, and then I'm like, all right, what's the next one?
Dobby.
And then we have Dobby.
Speaking of Tricksters.
Absolutely.
Maybe that'll be my main character is an orange cat who terrorizes
we've done
people.
The orange cat written into our stories, and it was funny. We had a different prompt, and I think it was orange was like one of the words. We both chose an orange cat, and we both made it where the cat was like killing someone in our separate stories.
We did.
Or there was the threat of it killing someone or eating someone. Like either way. Laura, Shannon, let's go in reverse order where Shannon, you'll do your outro first and then Laura. And yeah, I will have links. I'm going to copy and paste links so that anybody on the rewatch will get the links.
Okay. I'm Shannon, right in the name of S.E. Houston, YouTube channel under the name of S.E. Houston. I run weekly writing sprints on my channel. So that my next one's tomorrow. Mondays I do marathon sprints. So it's in 1 hour long sprints. And we go for about 6 hours. So try to get as much writing done as I can. But right now it's working on my Kickstarter that just ended. So I've got to get everything prepped for fulfillment. And we're also busy season on the back end for AuthorTube Writing Conference. I'm getting out the emails and getting the return from everybody saying who's going to be on, who can present and who can't present and whatnot. So yeah, so I'll probably be working on that tomorrow.
Priorities.
Yeah. I'm Laura Nettles. I streamed last Thursday, so I'm not streaming this Thursday. But yeah, I have a job interview this week, so I may need to switch my Thursday streams to Monday in the future. We shall see. Yeah. So keep an eyeball out.
And your streams include sprints, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So what's great about sprints, and if you don't do it even in here, we talk about you can write with us, but also you could also do your laundry, man, or like empty the dishwasher, right? Like on other streams when I'm not writing flash fiction, I'm usually doing self-care. Like because I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna set time for myself any other way. So appreciate it. But so glad y'all came. Chandra, what live streams you got coming up? Or videos or anything?
Tuesday afternoon at 3:00, I will be on with Vera on Twitch with Inimitable Books. We'll be doing writing sprints, and I'll be doing that. That'll be the 18th, the 20th, and the 25th. And then I think I'm not sure about April, but of course we will have our stream on the 20th.
Yes. I'll be on with Zara Saturday the 29th. And then on the 30th, we're doing Wicked on Nia's channel with scripting the book. So that's usually at like 12 or 11. I don't know. I get my time zones crossed and it's fun. But definitely appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you, everyone in chat chiming in. I'm so glad I'm surrounded by people who know what they're doing and did not call me out on screwing up any lore and
Thank you
such.
for bringing us on.
Yeah, I felt like I was doing brain surgery where I'm like trying to chime in like on the key words. I don't even know if I put them the right way.
I think so. I think we
Yeah.
did good.
Close enough. It's easy when I'm dealing with names and I'm putting them in as a name. Otherwise, like I didn't even know Keen was supposed to be Keening and stuff like that until I looked it up again. Despite y'all telling me everything, it's a sieve. Like we.
I wrote it as keen because I mean there is a keen. It's just a noun, an object when it's keen. But people do keening, so it's more of like a what is that? A verb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, fun times of
times.
writing.
But thank you so much for joining us though and sharing all of your knowledge of lore. It was very, very helpful and very, very fun. So
I loved being here. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the input of other people's stories and stuff because yeah, it's just at least we got it offset a little bit where with because Chandra usually kills somebody on or off page. I usually make it seem like people are dead and then I twist it at the end and make it happy. So it's nice to get some other input.
I tried to twist your story and make someone into a human sacrifice, you know?
You're like, it's a human sacrifice, right? Right? No.
We all have our flaws.
It works. But thanks everybody. I will end the stream, I promise. And we will see y'all next month where we deal with tricksters on the 20th of April. So bye.